Hello guys, and today's been the worst day in the history of the Russian airlines. Their booking system Leonardo was completely down, and thus companies like Aeroflot, Pobeda, Rossiya, Ural Airlines had to cancel 2,000 flights. They were not able to check in, check out passengers, they could not sell tickets. And during one day, all these companies lost 20 billion rubles. That is a lot even for a healthy industry, but we all know in which state the Russian airlines are now after the sanctions started working against them. What's more interesting, the reason for this problem is completely internal. Most likely this is the result of the Kremlin's games with their internet access. You know that in the end of 2025, to hide the failures of Putin, they began turning off internet in different regions, introducing black lists, white lists of various web pages, and this might have influenced the booking system, which of course relies on various international servers. So 20,000 Russians at least were stuck in the airports, angry and disappointed. And here you may rightly say nothing new. That is the new normal of the Russian Federation, and you are more than right. Because according to 2025 statistics, last year 4.5 million Russians were stuck in the airports because the Ukrainian drones traveled on some important demilitarization missions nearby. You can only imagine how much money Russian airlines lost in the previous year, and now we see more to come. So let's discuss how this industry actually exposes a huge problem inside the Russian Federation, and this problem is just one of many. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that has already started, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth. And let's change this Moscow-centered narrative in all global media. I'm not sure you will get this news on your local television channels, but this is super important to understand the state of the Russian Federation when deciding to appease the Kremlin dictator, or maybe better defeat him when Russia is the poorest and the weakest ever, and we definitely have a proof. So today, Russian booking system Leonardo was completely down. And you may say, wow, Ukrainian hackers, some cyber attacks, but no. Most likely this is the consequences of the Kremlin games with internet. You know that Roskomnadzor, they do have a special institution that is supposed to protect people online, but it actually protects people from any kind of online experiences. So first they turned off various internet filters in different regions, and actually in 2025 Russia ranked #1 country with internet shutdowns. Greetings from Ukraine, where we do have electricity outages, we have a lot of problems, but we do have internet access. And might be that they introduce these lists of white web pages, forbidden web pages, and Roskomnadzor might have screwed something, and in the result, this Leonardo stopped operating. And a list of companies that were all over the Russian media that suffered from their operational malfunction, could not check in, check out passengers, could not process their luggage, could not even sell tickets. So that is an investment for more problems to come in the future. So this was Aeroflot, I'm sure many of you heard, Rossiya, Pobeda, Ural Airlines, Utair, Red Wings, Aurora, RusLine, Yamal, Alrosa, Izhavia, and so on and so forth. And all of these companies together that already do not have enough aircraft, that cannibalize other aircraft, that at first tried smuggling something, stole some of this aircraft from your companies, because at the moment of the full-scale invasion, Russia literally stole other companies' aircraft that were on the territory of Russia when sanctions hit them. But it didn't help them because the Blitzkrieg failed and they promised to start building their own planes but failed. Putin promised to produce 120 jets per year and they delivered 12 during 4 years. Thumbs up, because these weaknesses of Russia are exposed. It began with the defeat of the Russian Federation and the destruction of their plans to occupy Ukraine in 3 weeks, and it continues, and with each month we see more and more. So 2,000 flights were cancelled today. This resulted in 20 billion rubles lost for these airlines that once again already lack 50% of their fleet. They have nowhere to get new planes, and we've recently discussed that on the channel. They started reintroducing old Soviet crap, planes from 60s and 70s. My advice to you, never fly Russian airlines. Let me know in the comments below, did you? That would be interesting, but and would you? That I guess I can predict your answer. So approximately 20,000 passengers were affected, and I may say that is not that much. But in general, in 2025, 4.5 million passengers were stuck in various Russian airports because of the Ukrainian drones controlling the airspace, at least at the European part of the Russian Federation. And that is where most of their military production or political centers are. So we may officially say that since 2025, Ukraine controls the skies above the European part of Russia. So 4.5 million, that is a lot, I'm sure you will agree. But I also loved the names of the airports which suffered most. And that is Vnukovo, Zhukovsky, Domodedovo, Sheremetyevo, all in the capital of the Russian Federation. So for like millions of Russians that were stuck in the airports of Moscow, I'm sure understood that Putin failed this special military operation, because now this special military operation develops not only in dozens of the frontline regions of Russia, but also in their capital, Moscow. And that deserves a subscription and a like. And also a support of our NEFO campaign that was prolonged because you were so generous and so kind, and there are some new patches, actually one with me. I will pin the link to our campaign. Consider supporting one more Ukrainian unit, and actually an international one. So today Putin visited St. Petersburg again, and guess what? They did turn off internet in the city. And now I believe more and more Russians do not want to see him, and that is purely mutual, because during almost all of January, Putin was hiding from his population and did not provide any comments on very important inside Russia topics, including problems inside the Russian army. But now, when they will continue internet shutdowns, I'm sure more problems with booking systems or other systems that are vital for the Russian economy will continue. And this is a clear demonstration how everything is interconnected. And when one evil country wants to destroy another peaceful neighbor, it may be that this evil empire will destroy itself way faster. And that's exactly what we observe with the Russian economy, with the utility systems in dozens of their regions which were sacrificed for the opportunity to target Ukrainian infrastructure, and many, many more. So our task is to remain united and not to appease Putin, but actually to defeat the Kremlin. Share these videos, this is important, and not many people speak about it, but you can check it and you will see that is the truth, and that is the new reality of the Russian Federation that wanted war and now has this war on its own territory. That's karma. Follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, and now Substack. Also, check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels. But most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Russia can and will be defeated. Slava Ukraini!